Hello everyone, it's LenorMarch. Yeah, today I'm addressing the questions for day 19 and 20. I'm quite behind, to be honest. But yeah, quite busy the last days, and sometimes you simply have no spare time. And yeah, so let's start here with the ring and the book within the LenorMarch. Yeah, the ring. Yeah, what's the ring all about? So, as you all know, we should talk what these cards mean to us. But I can only bring to this my noob's perspective, and this means I have to rely heavily on cheat sheets, on Kelly's sheet, and also on this little tiny card here from the Whisper LenorMarch, which you see here in front of you. So, when we have the ring, what could we think about the ring? This is possibly a commitment. What kind of commitment? Commitment towards knowledge, or maybe also education or something like that? Trying to make it the other way around. Does this change a lot? So we have knowledge, we have education. What kind of education? Committed education. What else do we have for the ring here? Yeah, relationship. What kind of knowledge? A relationship with knowledge? I don't know. Sometimes I really have to think about that a bit longer. Sometimes I know. Sometimes meanings of cards or meanings of two cards can change in terms of in which kind of direction you read them. But at the moment, I'm still fumbling around a bit with this one here. So sorry, this is totally noob. This is an absolute beginner thing that is going on. But I won't. This is something I can still learn. This is something I don't have to figure out in a video and bore you all to death. But I want to come up to the more juicier question or part of the question for day 19. And that's about what books are you committed to reading this year? Yeah, that's more my right up my alley. So, books that I want to read. Of course, there are. In general, I have to say there are a lot of non-fiction books on my list. Actually, almost all. I found myself within the last months, found myself reading more non-fictional books, which was up to that point quite unusual. But there is a not certain, sorry, there is a certain thirst for non-fictional books, spiritual books, and I also have troubles at the moment reading for a long time because I'm always getting tired. And so the way that I approach novels at the moment is only in only as audiobooks. So most of the time I go to my local library and see what's out there, and then I just have it and can do and listen to this one while I'm working sometimes. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes not, but it's at least I can follow this storyline a bit more closely because, after just 1 or 2 pages, my eyes get heavy and I'm falling asleep. So reading at the moment is challenging sometimes, but still there are a lot of books on my reading list. All those, there are some, of course, tarot related, which I don't want to incorporate here. I guess I will do a separate video on them, especially because I'm at the moment having 2 more tarot books on my radar that I really want to purchase. I will see when, possibly within the next days or maybe within the next week. I don't know. But one of the books I want really want to read is one of Joseph Campbell's books, and this is basically The Masks of God. And this has this kind of extra title, Mythology of the Ancient, people, ancient folks, I don't know. And these books I found within our in our library, in our local library. But it's quite, you can see it's a junky book and chunky book. Junky book. This is something totally new. Yeah, a junky book. Yeah, there are certainly also junky books. A chunky one, as you can see here, and from out of this, there are some more volumes to this one. So I guess I have 3 books. I found 3 books, and there are certainly some more. I'm searching for used Joseph Campbell books at the moment, but not so reasonable in price. So I guess I can most likely also buy them in regular with their in their regular price range, so to speak. Yeah, so Joseph Campbell's books are on my radar. Another one here is by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is The Miracle of Mindfulness, if I remember correctly. This was a book that I gifted to my boyfriend to his birthday, so I will see which title it was, so I don't tell you some nonsense here. So let's see. It is The Miracle of Mindfulness. So this is the German edition, of course. Das Wunder der Achtsamkeit. And yeah, this is much more approachable at the moment. And I know there are also some some kind of exercises in that. And I really like to approach these exercises as well. Another one which is quite long on my radar to read, and my boyfriend always tried to nudge me to read it as soon as possible, is by Mathieu Ricard, and this is Glück. In English it's happiness, and the English title for this book is, let's see, it's Happiness, a Guide to Developing Life's Most Important Skill. And it's no, there is no publisher here mentioned, but I will find that on Amazon.com for you. Yeah, this is one a book that my boyfriend read and was quite pleased with it. And we have also 2 other books by Mathieu Ricard, which are also on my reading list, but I will possibly do separate videos, especially when I will be finishing all of his books, so to speak. And basically it's the what he's telling here is about the Buddhist way of getting a more happier life, so to speak, the secret to happiness. And this is my boyfriend really loved this, and I'm quite eager to learn more about this one too. Another book, let's see. Another book which my boyfriend recently finished. He's got all into Buddhism and Zen. So this is, I don't know if this is available actually in English. This is by Stefan Schumacher. It's Zen, the Unteachable Teaching. And it's also not the thickest one, but you also have a lot of original resources about the original Zen. And I know from what my boyfriend told was that the author sometimes criticize a bit this kind of commercialized way of approaching Zen in our modern society. And these kind of, everywhere you look, we find some certain books about Zen and Zen doodling and all that stuff. And this is something that this seems to annoy this author. I'm quite interested how he will approach that, and we will see how this will go. I will also do a review of this one, if you like. And what else do we have here? An English one here. This is also quite long. This is in my library, and I still didn't found time. I guess back at those days when I purchased this, it's over 2 years ago actually. Yeah, I have to be. This is shameful to confess. This book. This book I bought over 2 years ago. This was before I started my season of the Seeker studies, and this was back in the days when my English was a bit, I had to revive it, especially when I started my season of the Seeker studies, and now I'm really much better with it. So I will approaching this one, and the author of this book is also the I don't know if she was the director of the movie, but she was certainly the initiator of the movie. It was called The Economics of Happiness. And this is a really wonderful movie. Highly recommend this movie. It's an eye-opener, and it's also talking about Ladakhi people in this book, and how they were changed within just a few years, or just a really few decades. Within the Ladakhi people started to change to the kind of modern civilized way of living, which caused a lot of damage, but still there are certain things that we still can learn from them to maybe also lead a more content life. So to get more contentment, so to speak, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I'm quite interested to read this as well. As you see, there are a lot of books on my, I guess we all have these kind of never-ending book lists. Another one, which is basically a workshop that some of you might know, by Julia Cameron. It's The Artist's Path, or something like around that line. I have to look it up. Sometimes not so easy. So, The Artist's Way, a spiritual path to higher creativity. I found this in our library, our alternative library we are building up within our urban garden community stuff of thingy, whatever. And I thought, okay, this is quite interesting. But this course takes, I guess, I have to see, I guess it's 10 weeks or something around that line. Elf? Elf. Elf. I mean 11, sorry. 12 weeks. Elf, an elf. No, it's the number 11, which is elf in German. So this one is on my radar, but this takes a lot more time. I don't know, maybe in summer or something like that. I really thought about making some kind of video to take you with me on this kind of process. Perhaps, I don't know. This was something which I had on my mind, couple of months back. So I will see how I will get on with this one. So this one, and what else do we have? One recent purchase I got yesterday. This is a book I got secondhand on our local library, and it was about dragons, so I had to take it with me. Only €2.50, and it's by Peter Ward. I don't know. It's not. It's in Germany. It's called The Ruby Dragon. But of course, most of the time, these kind of book titles are changing. And now I have to find it, and you have to, okay, totally different. Dragon Horse. So by Peter Ward, and here's a picture of Peter Ward, and does he did anything else here? No, there is nothing. Okay, he has a passion for mythology and philosophy of the East. so especially China. So it's basically it's about ancient China. And what I found really interesting within that book was at the beginning of the book you get this kind of lists of every character that comes within that. And do you see here the goddess Kuan Yin also plays a role? This is quite I found quite intriguing. I thought, okay, I take this book with me and we'll see what kind of journey it will take me. As you see, it's quite, oh wow, it's a chunky one. So I will see how I will approach that without getting, without falling asleep every time. So what else do we have here? The last book I will share with you is this one. It's basically also available in English. Yeah, English. Oh wow, wow, wow! My language is yeah. Okay, back to this one. It's called in English. It's called The Ends of the World, and it's by Roger Williamson, or we call him Roger Willemsen. Wow, I really sometimes I don't like when we Germanize English first names. Roger sounds really, ugh. No, Roger would be more appropriate. But everyone called him Roger. And this is a sad, sad story because this author passed away last month. And he wasn't that old. He had cancer. And this was really a shocking was shocking news to me when I heard that in the radio and thought, oh my gosh, not him, not him. And to see it's a signed copy, we were lucky to were on a open reading I guess 3 years ago or so. You can see him, so not an old man. And he did quite a lot of things here in Germany. He was also he worked for television. He had an own television show back in the 90s. He is I don't know if you call this in English like that, a columnist. And he also was he was a witty person, I have to say. He had a quite wonderful sense of humor and was really one of the smartest authors here in Germany. At least this is my perspective. Some don't like him, I don't know, but he was also very he had various interests. He had interest in classical music and all sorts of things. He hosted also classical concerts and something like that around that line. And he were on stage with one of our most famous author, also one who passed away, most famous. I don't know how you call them in English, because sometimes you found things around that line like comedian, and I don't think of neither him or the other one as a comedian. We call them more Satiriker. So satire is basically what both of them did. So I will put it in here somewhere here, what I mean with satire. So basically, he also made sometimes fun of our politicians and the way they do certain stuff, but in a really wonderful and up to the point way. And this one here, The Ends of the World, is about he visited basically every remote place on our planet. So you can see here some kind of the North Pole, Senegal, Kinshasa, Bombay, Kamchatka, and so on and so forth. And he was very skilled in observing people and coming close to their core of being. And it's really, he's a good read, basically. He also was um, he also worked as a journalist and did a lot of interviews with politicians as well as, for instance, musicians and so on. There is another book from him. I guess it's called Afghan Journeys, where he visited Afghanistan, where he was quite heavily involved in terms of charity and so on, and yeah, developing projects to help the people there. And yeah, a wonderful man, and it's really a shame that he had to die that young. And yeah, I miss him really, really much. So off now to the other two cards. I hope I will do this a bit quicker than but yeah, you know, book topics always takes time. So yeah, we have the letter and the man, and the man is basically a significator. So I don't know if you should read them in conjunction. Or I'm not so sure about that. So letter is basically a message, a written communication. So maybe a letter by that man. I don't know, but um, I take this more. This is a significator, so I don't combine them. Sorry. Um, I guess with a three-card spread, it would make more sense where this one is the significator, and you read the two cards uh, on each side of this significator. So the another part of the question for day 20 was if you could write a letter to one person, living, dead, or fictional, who would it be and what would you have to say? Obviously, excluding very private exchanges. Yeah, what person? Um, I guess I would write a letter to my father. I guess I would do that. We had not the best of relationships. He died, oh, I guess, uh, at the end of the 90s, so 1999. So he died, and we had not the best of, like I said, not the best of relationships. Never had. My mom was a single mom and raised me on her own. She had a terrible first marriage behind her, so she had experienced a lot of violence in her first marriage, and said, I won't, I won't get married anymore. And even when I was on my way to the world, my mom said, no, I won't marry him. So he's not the, she always said, he's not the type of man to get married with, or to be married with, or something around that line. And my father was always more of a lonesome guy. So but like I said, he he would be certainly the one I would write a letter. And this is quite a progress for me, because um up to a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought about that at all. So like I said, not very much of a positive relationship. I guess my mom always wanted that we get along with each other, and she tried to push it a bit. But I guess we were two persons that weren't that comfortable around each other. So I didn't know how to approach my father, and my father wasn't able to approach me to a certain point. Yeah, but I guess nowadays I would write him a letter and try to make peace with him, actually. So bring him to bring another layer to our relationship. This is something I'm working or worked on within my shadow work process, and I'm still working on that. And there were some amazing things that happened for me within working with this image of my father and integrating this image I have of him as a boy, integrating this image into my internal landscape and working with this, approaching actually approaching him as a boy was much more helpful than approaching him as an adult, because I never saw photos of him as a child or as a boy before, and this was kind of an unspoiled way to approach my father and get in some sort of contact with him or with the child that he was. Maybe this sounds a bit woo-woo for some folks out there. I don't know. This is something I try to approach. Okay, I'm his daughter, so a part of him is within me. So and this part I have to find, and I already found contact with this part, and it was really illuminating and yeah, really moving, I have to say. So yeah, this is my approach towards day 19 and 20. I hope you you stayed awake with my, yes, you stood awake. I don't know, being awake or whatever. I am not at the moment in the right, condition to talk proper English. So I hope you hadn't been fall asleep or something around that line, and we will see us, I guess, very soon. I still have to figure out when I find time to do I really guess I want to do the crystal tag video. But finding the time at the moment is a bit difficult, so we will see us soon in whatever kind of video. So I wish you the best and a fine day or a peaceful night. Many blessings. Bye.